Hi Virgo, welcome to your May 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I'm actually going to be taking a bit of a break from those, but keep an eye out on the community section of the channel because if I decide to start them up again, I'll make an update there. Or at the very least, by the time I start posting the June videos, I'll give you guys an update at that time. As far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and then we also have a couple of oracle cards and a mudra card, so there's quite a bit to get to. Getting started with the main situation, quite a few cards came up here. You guys got the Queen of Cups, the Five of Swords, the Moon, and the Fool. So it's an interesting mixture of energies here, but really the first thing that comes to my mind looking at these cards is I feel inclined to say don't take the bait. That's what I'm seeing there more than anything. Especially that Five of Swords with the Moon. I feel like, maybe there's going to be someone coming around. You're going to have a full moon in your third house of Scorpio, which is your house of communication. So it could be around that time also, especially since we do see the moon card there. And we're also later in May, you're going to have Venus in your 10th house of career and social status, squaring Neptune in your opposite sign. So those are two times to watch out for there, I would say, as far as maybe, some potential conflict or even someone misrepresenting something you say or do. And so, all right, here's one way that I could see it playing out. Let's say you have a creative project that you're working on. Be careful who you reveal that information to because, they might have less than, well, let's just say negative intentions around getting that information. And again, like I said, they may try to steal the idea possibly or maybe use it against you. So I feel like this is just saying that, really, if you're feeling this energy, like you should be a bit closed off about something, this might actually be a good time to do so. And I do think that towards the end of the month, you'll feel that energy clear up. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. And what could happen too is during that full moon, um, the moon's going to be trine Neptune in your opposite sign. So people might present things to you that might sound one way during that full moon, and it might sound really good at that time, but then maybe even a week later, by the time we do see that Venus square Neptune in your opposite sign, it might start to already look very different by then. So I would say, just be careful around any offers that might come your way. And also, if you feel like someone's baiting you into some kind of an argument as well around those times, just try to, keep a lid on it, quite literally, right? Since we see there's a lid on this cup there. Could just be saying that it might be in your best interest not to engage with that because even if you're 100% in the right, the energies at play this month might end up, they might be able to use it against you and make you look like the bad guy, even though you might have been in the right all. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the hangman. So to me, this is coming up as a challenge to say that it might be a challenge for you to look at things from a higher perspective, right? And also to, really rely on your intuition a little bit. So we could see how those two energies could play against each other, right? Where, like I said, maybe your first instinct might be to let this person have it if it is someone coming back around, maybe trying to start a conflict for whatever reason, right? But it could just be saying that, it's a challenge for you, but you might need to really look at things from a higher perspective and say, you know what, I'm just going to let that slide and let the universe take care of it. So it could even be around the workplace too, I do have to say. So like I was saying, as far as maybe someone trying to steal an idea of yours, right? Maybe you might say something to a coworker, oh, I think we should do this, right? Then they go run and tell the boss like that was their idea, right? Then all of a sudden they get all kinds of praise for it. And you're like, seriously? So that could be what's at play there. And it doesn't have to all be negative either, though, but I will say definitely just keep an eye out for, especially around that Scorpio full moon to when we first see Venus turn retrograde and when it's squaring Neptune. So that's pretty much the end of the first week and around the start of the second week of May. In the foundation position, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So this is actually Taurus energy here. And usually what I see with this energy is I see it as a combination of Venus and Mercury energy, where it could just be saying that you're really considering, you know, what time and energy you've put into something and whether you've really been getting a good return on your investment in doing so. Quite frankly, with the things going on in the world right now, people might be looking at their investments in general and wondering, like, okay, was this worth it, right? But this could just be saying that, you know, you might be in a mode where you might be comparing yourself, or even looking at where you actually are versus where you hope to be at this time, and maybe being a bit disappointed with that progress. And again, with the energies at play, like I said, that could definitely be something you might be feeling. But I feel like as we get a little bit later in the month, you might start to see things from a slightly better perspective. So, you know, if you are feeling a bit down on yourself and feeling like, oh, maybe you should be doing more, you know, just give yourself a little time to let that energy pass. In the past position, we have the Five of Wands in reverse. So, for those of you where this is someone who you feel like they've been a bit shady already in the past, this could just be saying that maybe in the past you might have run into an encounter with this person like that before too, and in the past you also might have tried to avoid it. Like, you know what, I'm not even going to deal with it. So, on the one hand, you might think them coming back might be an indicator that, you know what, I really need to just get this person out of here for once and for all. But like I said, I feel like with the energies at play, even if you're in the right, I feel like it could backfire with just the astrological energies on the table for the month. But at the same time, if you just let it slide, and I'll get to why I think that could be the case a little bit later too, you know, things should start to just clear themselves out in a positive way a lot better in that regard. So that's what I'm seeing there. In the present position, we have the Four of Cups. So this is actually Cancer energy here. But what I'm seeing here is this could just be saying, and this makes me feel like for some of you, this could definitely be around someone coming toward you with an offer. And it sounds one way on the surface, but if you really look a little deeper, there's not much substance to it. That's what I'm really feeling. So like I said, let's say, just as a hypothetical, around that Scorpio full moon, which is in your house of communication, someone comes to you with an offer. Oh, we should partner up, right? Let's do this. Let's team up for this, that, and the other. And they make it sound really good at the time. And you agree to it, right? But then by the time we get to a week or so later, when we see that Neptune-Venus square in the 7th and 10th houses, which are very important houses for you guys, then all of a sudden you might start to immediately realize, okay, that was a bad idea to go into a partnership with this person. So normally this is a frustrating energy for me, because I feel like it's a person that's getting offers that they're not happy with, but at the same time they're not doing anything to change it, right? They're not going after what they do want, or they're not communicating, yeah, I'm not interested in this. But here I actually think this is a good energy. It's rare that I say that. I think it's good for you to actually not take an offer coming your way, to really wait and see. To me, this is taking that wait and see approach in this particular context, and I feel like that is the best strategy for you guys to take right now. All right, in the near future position, we have the Lovers. This is the major arcana card for Gemini. So on the one hand, some of you could be dealing with the Gemini, but more than anything, what I'm seeing with this here in particular, right now we have Venus in Gemini, and like I was saying, it's going to be going retrograde a little bit later this month, right when it starts to square Neptune in your opposite sign. And also Mercury's going to be there, and obviously the Sun will be there towards the end of May. So there's going to be a lot of energy going on in Gemini this month. It could just be as simple as pointing to that, right? But let's also keep in mind that that's your house of career and social status. So what I'm seeing here, in this context anyway, this isn't normally what I see with this card, but in the context of this reading, I see this as karma working in your favor. Because what I see here is, if we think about the angel symbolism in the card, right, it looks like she's behind the two people. So to me, that's saying that if you let things work themselves out behind the scenes, it'll work out best for you. And so with Venus going retrograde in your house of career and social status, right, let's say that someone's trying to smear your name in some way, right, or trying to take credit for something that you did in the workplace. Since it is career and social status, could be public things going on. if you just let that energy, just let it ride, karmically, things should work out for you behind the scenes to where, rather if you confront it head on this month, maybe in June the energy will be different and you can do so. But I feel like if you take it head on this month, it might backfire. Whereas if you just let, kind of take your foot off the gas and let things play out, what, maybe someone could paint the pretty picture around that Scorpio full moon. But once Venus and Neptune square each other, that might reveal their true colors, and then all of a sudden the truth might come out. So, like I said, if it was someone who stole your idea, it might become obvious at that time. If this is someone who's giving you an offer, let's say even a love offer, right, and it sounds too good to be true, give it a little bit of time, and you'll actually start to see that offer a lot more clearly as we get a little bit later into the month. So that's what I'm seeing there. In the position of your influence on a situation, we have the Hermit. So perfect. This is your card for one, the major arcana for your side. So this shows to me that you're going to be in your power anyway. And also this is a very analytical energy, right? You really look at everything. You really look at the details. And this would be a good month to do so, like I said, with the energies we see at play. So I feel like a lot of you are actually going to take your time. You're not going to jump at any offers. You're really going to look through things with a fine comb and see, like, okay, does this actually work? Is this really what it looks like, right? So I feel like you're in the right energy for that right now. So this is definitely a good card to see in this position. And I mean, for some of you, could just be pointing to the fact that we're all kind of stuck inside right now too, right? So definitely could be the case as well. All right, in the environment position, we have the Ace of Cups. And interestingly enough, it came out sideways. So it came out, that's why I put it like that in the spread. So it's interesting that it fell out sideways to me, because that could just be pointing out to what I was saying, that, if this were strictly upright, I'd feel a little bit more inclined to say, oh yeah, definitely, whatever this offer is, you can trust it. And maybe I would say that the moon energy is saying that you're the one who's not seeing the situation clearly. But with this coming out sideways, I feel like that just is more of a point of emphasis, which is to say, okay, someone might come to you with an offer, but you know what? Maybe even they're not. So maybe they're not even flat out trying to be deceptive, right? But it could just be that maybe there's something they overlooked as well. So that could be one way it's playing out. And then this could just be saying with this sideways that to wait on it again, right? Like I'm getting another energy here of pause, right? Like whatever they offer you, give it a little time, right? If they're serious about it, then you shouldn't have to worry about the fact that, you wanting to wait a week or two before you make a decision shouldn't scare them off, right? That might be a sign that something's a little shady there, right? If they're like, no, I need your decision right now, So that's what I'm seeing there. In the hopes or fears position, we have the 10 of Wands and the 7 of Swords. So what I always point out to people is that the cards in the hopes or fears position aren't necessarily an indicator of what's going to play out. It's more like what's on your mind. But what I would say with these two cards, it might be a fear. And again, it might be a fear that all of the work you put in, right, you might feel that it might get stolen, right? So again, that's what I'm saying, where you might be in your best, it might be in your best interest, at least for this month, that if you do have an idea, be careful about who you share it with, because maybe not everyone has the best intentions, right, as far as with that information. I mean, in times like these too, they even talk about just in general, even if it's not in the workplace, so I'd say it's just in general, around, tough times like these also brings out a lot of scam artists too. So it could be as simple as that, where again, like if someone comes along with with a proposal that seems too good to be true, then maybe you should look that over with a little bit more detail. But yeah, that's why I feel like here that this is saying more than anything. And it could be around the workplace too, again, where maybe you feel like you're not being compensated as well as you should. And I do have to say, at the bottom of the deck too, we have the 8 of Wands. So to me, this is saying that there's going to be a lot of communication coming in for you guys. And, I feel like that element of discernment is going to be really good for you this month. All right, and in the outcome position, we have Justice. the High Priestess, the King of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. So Justice, of course, representing Libran energy and often points to balance. Again, I also view this as a very karmic energy. So like we were talking about with the Lovers there, I feel like things being worked out behind the scenes in your favor. Look, combine that with the Justice card, this seems to be another indicator of that. And this can be around finances for some of you too, especially because Libra is your second house of finances. High Priestess, again, to me points to that intuition, right? Just, intuitively knowing that, okay, you know what, I'm not going to jump into anything here, right? I'm not going to cause or, take the bait, like I was saying. That's really the phrase that keeps popping back up in my head. And with the King of Swords energy here, technically this is Aquarius energy. But this could just be pointing to maybe, let's say, by the time Mars moves out of Aquarius, maybe that's what it's pointing to, more of a timeline thing. And then this is actually this card represents the first 10 degrees of Gemini. So this could just be saying that, maybe if you wait till we officially move into Gemini season, you might feel like that, whatever things might be holding you back or whatever you might not be seeing clearly might be cleared up by then. Whatever obstacles you might feel like have you stuck right now in this position, right? I actually made a meme with this card not too long ago saying that pretty much I feel like this is the energy everyone feels like they're stuck in, right? There's a lot of stay-at-home orders all over the world. People have to stay in the house. So maybe this is a hopeful sign just in general, saying that by the time we get to Gemini season, things might clear up in that regard. But yeah, that's primarily what I'm seeing there, is that this is saying that, again, karmically, things should work out in your favor as long as you don't take the bait when it comes to any kinds of conflicts and you're careful about who you share your information with. And I will say, even though we're going to have that tough energy with Venus and Neptune between your, 10th and 7th house respectively, Mercury is going to be moving through there too. And at a certain point around the Gemini new moon, Mercury is actually going to meet up with Venus. So even though Venus is going to be retrograde, to me that Mercury energy in its home sign, well, co-home sign, because you guys are also ruled by Mercury, but to have Mercury in a strong position meet up with Venus there, it might show you any flaws in any offers, right? So if there's anything shady about an offer, or if there's any plan, or if anyone tries to steal your idea, when Mercury moves to those degrees, that might actually help clear things up for you guys. So that's what I'm seeing there. So that's what I'm saying. This is definitely a little bit of tricky energy, but I feel like, after maybe the second week of the month, you might start to feel that energy dissipate and turn in a more positive favor. Okay, moving on to the oracle cards. First, we have Poised. There's the artwork, and the number is 48. So let's see what this has to say. Okay, it says being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best, confidence. The oracle's message: you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. So definitely an interesting message there, and I do have to say that, like, I feel like early in the month the energy looks a little bit tricky, but I do have to say we did have the Fool card in the mix with all of these energies too, so it could just be saying that, once you do clear that energy, and especially, like I said, watch out for that full moon in Scorpio at the very least, but maybe it's saying later in the month, if you do avoid taking that bait, you might actually be able to start whatever new project you're looking forward to doing. So hopefully that resonated for you guys there. Okay, the relationship message says, when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. So again, definitely sounds like a positive message there. And like I said, I really do feel like there's a need to be a little cautious early in the month. But like I was saying with the lovers in the near future and the karmic energy we see playing out in a positive way, I feel like this message might be leaning a little bit later in the month for you guys. But hopefully that resonated as well. The prosperity message says you have every reason to feel confident. Everything you need to make your success concrete is now at your disposal. You can take action knowing you are ready to step into your power, into your light, and into your service to the world. The direction you're moving in is your destiny. Your soul was smiling with joy as you align with this truth. So definitely a good message there. And like I was saying, I feel like even if someone does try to do something in a more negative way, like I was saying here with that lover's energy, I feel like karmically things working out behind the scenes. We see that with the Justice card as well. So it looks like it's saying that, pretty much it's your time. So whatever people might try to throw in your way anyway, as long as you don't look bad in the process, it should work out in your favor anyway. Okay. Next we have Vulture Spirit. It says nothing is wasted. There's the artwork for that. And the number is 63. Okay, it says what seems hideous has its own beauty, and the recycling and repurposing the vulture does is as important as any other activity in nature that supports the cycle of life. Vulture Spirit's message is that nothing is to be wasted, for nature sees value in everything that exists. What seems rotten and ugly has the potential to be transmuted into something beneficial, and you are reminded that any suffering you have experienced has not gone to waste. Wisdom and understanding that arose from the experience are talismans that will serve you on your journey wherever you go. What is decaying is only changing form and will fertilize seeds you wish to plant, turning that which has passed away into the substance that will support new growth. All that you might wish to deny or discard has value and can be repurposed and reintegrated into the new you that you are becoming and the new life that you are dreaming into being. No pain was in vain, and no experience was wasted, for you have the power to use it to co-create something far better. This is the miracle in your partnership with Spirit. So definitely a cool message there, and I do feel like that's pointing more to what I was saying as far as the energy I feel like for earlier in the month, right? And it could just be saying that, yeah, as far as not taking the bait being the key, right? So like I said, yeah, maybe someone does try you in some way, shape, or form, and maybe, maybe some of you do end up engaging in a conflict with them, right? I feel like you should avoid it, like I said, but maybe they get the better of you in the moment. But either way, with that lover's energy in the near future, that seems to support what I was saying there, where it's saying, no suffering is wasted, and it could be transmuted into something beneficial, right? That's why I feel like all that stuff it's saying there is, that stuff will work out karmically in your favor anyway. So even though it might suck that you had to go through it, should turn around in your favor anyway. And I feel like that could be what you might experience with that Venus retrograde moving to your 10th anyway. Where if there was something karmically done wrong to you in the past, retrogrades are good for clearing those things up in a more positive way. All right. So now we move on to the mudra card. And the mudra you guys got for this month is the Bhramara mudra. There it is there. The keyword for it is harmony. So definitely a pretty good keyword. Now, here's the info on it if you wanted to either pause it or take a screenshot to see what it has to say. But under benefits, it says improves the health of the lungs and the large intestine, balances the immune system, particularly in cases of immune overreaction, reduces allergic reactions to food and pollen, and soothes cough and irritated lungs. So, for those of you who might find that beneficial, especially given that it is allergy season for some places in the world, I will put the name of that mudra in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.